Hi, One Best PR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. It's week 16 in the NFL. We are talking with Jeff Cadillac from jeffcadillac.com. He has selected Giants, Minnesota to cover as the first game this week. Interesting game. The Giants, of course, coming off of a cover. Nice cover, interesting game, controversial game against the Panthers. And Minnesota stumbled for a few weeks there, Jeff, right? But they came back, got a big win over the Bears. Now they're 11-3 ATS overall on the year. And, of course, the Vikings also a big under-trender on the year. Right now we have Minnesota minus 5.5 or 6. Jeff Cadillac, what is your pick in this game?
Well, to look at these two teams, you got two teams that are basically going in different directions. Last week, the Giants were down 35-7. They came back nicely. Carolina went to sleep in the second half, underestimated the Giants. Giants actually tied the game. Carolina had to kick a late field goal. But the big story of that game, as we all know, is Odell Beckham is suspended for this game against Minnesota. As this video is going in, he is appealing it, but rumor has it in New York here that he is going to be suspended for this game. So I am looking at it as him being out. Minnesota is obviously a nice favorite in this game, and the Giants are a mess basically without Odell Beckham because he's their best player on offense. In fact, he's probably the best player on the whole team. But what he did against Carolina, if you didn't catch it, totally minor league, and there's no place in the game for this. Also, I like Minnesota's bounce back against Chicago. They totally blew them out. That was my best bet of the week, by the way, on Twitter. I loved it. Minnesota was laying the points. I think it was like 5 or maybe even 6 in some places. I loved it. I knew that you had the matchup of Peterson versus the 26th ranked defense for Chicago. I knew that going together wasn't going to match. I knew Peterson was looking for the end zone on every play. So that's the matchup I was counting on. It takes a lot of pressure off Bridgewater when Peterson is on all sockets moving forward, and that's what happened there in Minnesota. But this game moving up, there's certain matchups that I definitely like. I definitely like Minnesota in this game at home. Minnesota's looking to get into the playoffs on a nice, on a nice winning streak, because you don't really want to go into the playoffs on a losing streak. Saying that Minnesota's going to the playoffs, I haven't said that in a while, and this is very positive. I think Bridgewater's definitely matured. It's a lot of good signs in Minnesota, and only good things moving forward. But the matchup I love here is Minnesota has the 5th rushing offense versus the Giants have the 21st rushing defense. Peterson is going to be looking to run, and the offensive line for Minnesota has been playing very well. They've been opening up the holes, and they've been giving protection for Bridgewater. Again, it takes a lot of pressure off Bridgewater when Peterson is able to run for yardage, because if it's all on Bridgewater and Minnesota can't get their running game going, it's a disaster. It has to be a nice even balance. You got Minnesota's defense also is a very underrated crew out there. They have the 13th total defense in the NFL. I see this as Minnesota, again, is going forward. The Giants are going backwards. Last week, Coughlin should have definitely said something to Odell Beckham. He should have done something to, stem the tide. It was a total distraction of the game. The fact that he'll be out of the game for this week against Minnesota, which is probably 99% sure, definitely spells disaster for the Giants, because a bunch of no-names that Eli has to throw to, and they have no running game. They have absolutely no running game, the Giants. The offensive line is a mess. I like Minnesota in this game. I definitely think they're going to win by at least 14 points. Take Minnesota, lay the points, and enjoy the game.
All right, Minnesota by at least 14. That is Jeff Cadillac's assessment of this game. Minus 5.5 is one of the currently widely available numbers. Jeff Cadillac, thanks for your analysis. Tell us what jeffcadillac.com is all about.
Okay, jeffcadillac.com. I analyze all the games every week, free on my website. Last week went 11-5 against the spread. And on Twitter at JeffCadillac1. My best bet last week, Minnesota, laying the points at home against Chicago.
Oh, nice. That sounds great, Jeff. Thanks so much.